Are you a man that's looking for a community of like-minded men, husbands and fathers that just want to be better? Are you tired of the narrative that the world is putting out about us men, about how we should think, act, and be? Are you ready to speak freely as a man without worrying about offending anyone or any group? If you are ready to be a man unapologetically, this is the platform for you.
Positive energy and good vibrations from me to you. You have now tuned in to the Imperfect Fathers Podcast.
Positive energy, good vibration. Welcome to the Imperfect Fathers Podcast, a platform that is dedicated and created for the imperfect fathers. I am your host, RJD, the Imperfect Gentleman. So, real quick, if you are a perfect father or you are a perfect man, this podcast is not for you. Do me and yourself a favor and get up out of it. But if you are an imperfect father, an imperfect gentleman, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, because it gives that digital currency that we do appreciate. And check this out. At any point in this podcast, if I say anything that resonates or you see value in, please don't have the selfish or stingy energy. Share this out with someone else. Share this out with another imperfect father that you may know, and another imperfect gentleman you may know. Because truthfully, if it helps you, it can help them. So in this episode, we're going to talk about the timeline of the very podcast. We're going to talk about where it came from, where it is currently, and where it's going. Now, we have a lot to go over. We have a lot to talk about. And I haven't had a chance to really be with you guys in a while, so it's been a little sinking. But there are a lot of things that has changed. But around here, there are a few things that will never change, no matter what the season or the reason. And that is talking to the Father. Around this platform, we have made our duty and our due diligence to make sure that we talk to the Father before we start any conversation around it. Because we understand that we are the imperfect one, but He is the perfect Father. So with that being said, let's talk to Him. Gracious and eternal God, we thank you for our life, our health, our strength. We're grateful for everything, God. We're grateful for everything that comes our way, the trials, tests, tribulations, everything else that comes, because we know it all works together for our good. Right now, we're also grateful for a new season, God, of the podcast and platform. Right now, as always, God, I actually go before me as I be a vessel, oracle that you may use, speak to men, help them be the best version of themselves, God, not just our own fame and our own vanity sake, God, but our generation. We do this, we want to leave a mark on this earth. God, with you, we can do all things. Right now, we actually do these things in the maximum of the Most High. We just know to give your name glory, praise, and honor. Due to you. Okay. So check this out. I'm extremely excited, not just about this episode. I'm excited about the season in general. I'm just excited about the podcast. Overall, you're looking at an individual who has learned so much and have so much experience in this world over the last 3 to 4 years. And because of it, I'm extremely grateful for all the lessons and everything I've learned along the way and all the phenomenal people that I have come across and I've contacted with. It's been a phenomenal journey. But in this episode, this is the first episode of season 2. Now we're going to dive right into it. We're not going to waste no time because, like I told you, this episode is not going to be as long. I just wanted to give you guys a quick timeline to what you've been seeing, what you're seeing now, and what you're going to see coming up. So, with that being said, let's jump right into it. When, where, and why did the podcast begin? Now, check this out. In 2020, I was, just finding my footing in the internet world and just trying to figure out what was going on in the internet space. And in 2020, I heard a lot of noise pertaining to fathers and how we weren't needed, how fathers were just an extra, we weren't a necessity, right? And that kind of troubled me because you're looking at someone as passionate as anyone could possibly be about being a father. I love my children at times more than I love myself. And when I would hear these things and to see them, understanding that all the things that I was going through in that age and stage of my life and my children being so young, it hurt me and it bothered me so much that I couldn't rest. It was literally causing me to be aggravated, uneasy, and simply just fed up with the narrative. So it bothered me so much to where like I began to think about ways that I could change this narrative, or I can bring a new perspective to this very dark and gloomy topic that it seemed to be. So I had a few ideas that went through my head, but none of them stuck. And Father's Day was coming around, and I was like, "Dang, I need to do something." And the first one of the first thoughts that I had that came to mind was, let me do a panel of men that not only love and appreciate their title as a father, but take pride in it. And when I had the idea, I sat down with my wife and we talked it out and we drew it out. And that had to be one of the most gratifying times of my life, because at no other time did I build anything, did I put anything together. And one thing I learned about us as men, if we're not building or putting something together and creating in the mode of creation, we're not functioning to our highest capability of what we are. Because we are builders and we are creators by nature. So at this time, I began to reach out to different men that I hold to high esteem, right? That I know that are in their children's lives and they're doing all these things that are, like I said, proud fathers. So I reached out to about, I would say, 10 to 15 of them. And to my surprise, I would say almost all of them responded back like, yeah, I'm down, let's do it. So we had a few meetings and we had a few conversations, and then we actually did the recording. Now, the recording lasted about 4 hours. Let me just be real out there. So all the fellas that took the time to out of their busy schedules and their lives to record that recording, even to this day in 2024, I do not take that for granted. I know that that was difficult. It wasn't easy to sit down for that many hours to have a conversation, but I'm grateful that you guys did it, because it can never be erased, right? It's something that we created in history that will always be there. And I'm going to leave the description. I'm going to leave the link to that video down in the description of this episode, because if you want to go back, you'll be able to see all the gentlemen that I had on the platform be able to have the conversation. And that Father's Day panel was such a phenomenal experience. After it was over, the gentlemen didn't want it to end. A lot of the kings were like, "Yo, listen, this is something that we created that we think we should keep going on with." So in that process of us trying to figure it out, I would say maybe a week or two later, a couple gentlemen came to me and was like, "Yo, listen, we really believe in this thing and we want to push it." But at the time, I got to be honest, I was doing a lot. I had just started my coaching practice. I was just trying to figure things out. I really wasn't capable of taking anything else on my own. Sidebar, at the time, I was actually in the middle of recording my first podcast ever, which is called the Start Now podcast, where me and my good friend Swiss Mahogany started. Shout out to Swiss. And the truth of the matter is, the fact that I'm recording episodes and podcasts, and this actually is part of my life right now. A major part of that goes out to Swiss Mahogany, because if it wasn't for Swiss, I don't believe that I would be even been in a situation right now to even record. He gave me the confidence, right? He gave me he simply put his foot in my behind and made me do it. One day he hit me on the Instagram live, and he was like, "Yo, welcome to your podcast." And I was just like caught off guard. But we recorded so many dope episodes, and we put them up, and we enjoyed what we was doing so much that, like I said, at that time, I didn't really have the capacity to pick up another podcast and record it, edit it, pump it up, do the clips. All that's hard work. Let me tell y'all, if y'all don't know what goes into these podcasts, yo, just sit down and talk to someone who's doing it for a moment. Just ask them like, "Yo, what does it really take to be a podcaster? What does it take to just create a podcast and show up each and every week?" It's extremely a lot of work, and it's not easy. But over the years, over the time, we've gotten better. So from that point of the gentleman coming to me, 3 gentlemen picked up the rings of this podcast, and they took it head on. They went full fledged. These three men were KB with It's Now or Never Entertainment, this show's official sponsor, who's been sponsoring this podcast now for the last 4 years faithfully. Um, Swiss Mahogany, who I was just talking about, and my own very cousin, Troy Tribble. Those three gentlemen came along with me, and we created this podcast that you're looking at right now called the Imperfect Fathers Podcast. And let me tell y'all, we had some phenomenal episodes, and they're still up right now. You can go down the line. I believe we have about, if I'm not mistaken, close to 62 episodes published right now, and we have a lot more too that we took down from prior seasons that we're trying to make some room for the new season. But as a matter of fact, now that I think about it, I might try to go back in the archive and find those and republish those and put those back up because there were some phenomenal episodes. Shout out to my man Swiss. He is literally the one who brings the juice. Shout out to my man KB. He comes and brings out the level headedness, but then shout out to my cousin, the complete fool. He brings the nonsense. He brings the wisdom. He brings the energy, and we appreciate each and every last one of those gentlemen because they are what made the podcast what it is today. So right now, I do want to take this moment and I do want to say thank you to those gentlemen for making this podcast what it is. Let's give them a shout. Let's give them a round of applause, y'all. Yes. So, and funny part of the backstory of the podcast is that Troy has a lot to do with this podcast even going forth, and he is literally probably one of the funniest individuals I know. So if you think that he's funny in the episodes that you watch, you can just imagine of some of the things he said and done in person back in the green screen before the camera started rolling. So I wanted to give a special shout out to Troy Tribble, man, because that boy is a fool. He's been thrown off the platform way more than anyone else. Go back in the records and check it out yourself. So now that we've kind of went down memory lane, just as I'm sitting here recording this right now, I'm just thinking about all the steps and the processes that have come into place just for me to be where I am right now. And to be honest, it's been one hell of a journey. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I've met some phenomenal individuals. I've had some great conversations, and I'm just blessed to be here where I am right now, and I'm grateful because I would have never thought that this is where I would be right now in this current moment. So now that we've had the when, the where, and the why this podcast has begun, let's dive down to where the podcast is today. Now, the podcast has grown a lot over the last 4 years. Like I said, we've changed locations. We've tried different formats, and the newest format of the show I'm actually very proud about because I sat down and took the time to really dissect what I am, who I am as a content creator, the individuals that I'm looking to speak to, and I've really taken the time to map out and format the show to where you guys can flat out enjoy it, right? I've created new segments in the show all the way from imperfect opinions, right? That's when the show starts off. We have a watch and respond, and we give our opinions based upon whatever the content is that we're watching at that moment. It's a pretty much an icebreaker, so we can just basically start the conversation. And the next part of the podcast, the format is basketball talk. Now, anyone who knows me knows I am an avid basketball player, watcher, and lover. I love the sport tremendously, to the point where it's pretty much my only hobby, right? Anyone asks me, like, what do you do? Well, I like to watch and play basketball. So with that being said, I've had some phenomenal conversations in person, online, on social media platforms, just on the topic of basketball. I have a bunch of friends in my community and men who enjoy the sport as well. And I just want to have a conversation around the topic, from NBA players to street ballers to basketball in general. And there'll be times where we do dip and dive into the football, and because right now we are currently headed toward the Super Bowl right now. So I'm excited about what's happening in sports in general. So it'll be times where we have different conversations about what's popping in the world of sports, and we'll just be having dialogues based upon what's going on. And this year we have Super Bowl. San Francisco is facing the Kansas City Chiefs, so this is going to be a phenomenal game. So I just I'm just excited because this is I'll be able to have the chance to discuss topics that really interest me, and I know that will create great conversation amongst us as men. So the format we talked about the imperfect opinions, the basketball talk, then we jump directly into the main topic, whatever that may be. Currently, the main topic is where the podcast has been, where it is, and where it's going, and after the main topic, we would jump into basically to the final thoughts and the closing comments and the closing inspiration thoughts. And that format has literally been working pretty well for me. Over the last few months of me putting the content out, I've gotten a lot of great feedback from you guys um, about the format, about how you guys like the way I break it down now, about how it's easier to follow along with. So based upon you guys' responses, why I'm going ahead with the format of this podcast. So I'm excited about it. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you do have any more questions, concerns, or comments concerning the format, or anything that you really do want to address about the podcast to me, write it down in the comments below, or you can get at me directly in my DMs or my messages over on Instagram. I'll leave my Instagram handle down in the comments below. It's handle at rjd.imperfectgentleman on Instagram. Write me your comments there, and I'll be able to respond to you and get back at you at my earliest convenience. But I do want to put a warning out there. I am petty. I'm going to say that, and I'm going to say that often. I am petty. So I'm not an individual that's going to match your energy. I'm going to do my best to succeed it. Meaning, if you come at me negatively, I'm not going to just come at you with the same energy you come at me. I'm going to come at you with 2 times the energy. I'm just letting that be known right now. So please come at me respectfully, and I will always give that respect to you 10 times folded. But if you come at me disrespectfully, I would also give that back to you 10 times fold. So warning has been given. Just leaving it where it is. I'm very upfront. I'm a very respectful individual, but I definitely get petty and some kind of way when you violate. So please don't violate, and I won't either. Boom. Now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about the new additions to the platform. So, like I said, I've spoken to you guys about the founders of the platform. Now, they haven't went anywhere. I want to be very clear. Those gentlemen have not went anywhere. Life has been life, and which has been causing us not to be able to shoot the podcast as often as we want to. But in this new season, we have agreed to a certain time that we will show up every single month for you guys with an episode of all 4 of us continuing the same energy and the same vibe the podcast was created on. So I don't want you to think that I've canceled and really moved those guys out of the way, because I definitely have not. Those are my brothers. Those are my partners, and we will move forward together. But life is lifing right now, and us coming together each and every week to record is not conducive to everyone's schedule right now. So at least once a month, you get a full episode of all 4 of us. But I also want to take this moment to also thank and celebrate and appreciate the new additions to the podcast, right? I want to take this time. You guys seen a few of them before, and one of them you haven't. No, 2 of them you haven't, but you will start seeing them more regularly. I want to start by introducing my man Eric Harris to the platform. He is the OG. He's one of my mentors. He's a guy that I truly appreciate. I love like a brother, because he's been there for me in that way, and he's also been an individual who has pushed me and propelled me to another level of greatness. So I want to give a special shout out to Eric Harris, because you are my brother, and I appreciate you. And I'm saying welcome to the platform, but you already been here as a regular, so it doesn't matter. You're already a brother of mine. Next, I want to give another shout out to my man Chris McBride, another individual who's been on the platform and graced the platform with his presence and his excellent mind. He has a phenomenal mind, outstanding father, and he's an individual that I appreciate because he's pushed me and elevated me in new ways, and not only just my business, but me as a person, as a man, as a father, as a husband, as a leader. So a special shout out to my man Chris McBride. Thank you for what you've done, what you do, and who you are, because truly you have helped me become a better individual. Next, now these two individuals are truly new to the platform, right? I want to give a special shout out to my man Carl, my man Coach Carl. My man Carl has been around for now about I would say a good 3 or 4 years in my life, in my inner circle, and he has been such a blessing just by being who he is. He is always a person who's speaking at a very high vibration. He's always speaking life. Shout out to his brand, Speak Life. He is an individual who's consistently motivating, phenomenal inspiration. He's constantly calling me, encouraging me, just letting me know that what I'm doing is necessary, and motivating me, and inspiring me on a weekly and daily basis at times. So I want to take this moment to say thank you, Carl, and welcome to the platform, King. Now, this last individual, I've taken the time to put him last because by far it's last but nowhere near least. And this individual, I want to give a quick little backstory of how we come to meet each other and how things have worked themselves out. And it's a great testament to how we don't know what the plans God had for our lives, but if we just connect ourselves to the will and put ourselves in the position of God's will for our lives and just watch things unfold, we'll be amazed when we look back in hindsight and see how things just came together and connected. So I would say about 3 to 4 years now, should I say, that I was coaching in a league for children. And when I started coaching in the league for children, I went to an area where nobody really knows who I am. They don't know any of my credentials. They don't know what I've done in the sport. They just see me as a semi-tall individual who might know what he's talking about basketball. So it took me a little while to win over the parents and all those things, people in the community. And one of those parents happened to be Jose. And Jose will tell you that when he first met me, he looked at me and was like, "Oh, this guy has no clue what he's doing now. He doesn't." He just looked at me and said, "I must not know basketball." Just I guess by the way I was presenting myself or what have you. But he'll tell the story as well. And it's going to come up in another episode that he didn't realize I actually played the game of basketball until one day I had to show the kids the right hand and leg for a layup. And it was hard to actually do the layup at the kid rim because I didn't have to jump. So this one practice, the adult rims were still up. Normally they're folded up and they're not in the way for the children. But this one practice, the adult rim was still in the air. I could still use it. So I took the moment to have all the children pay attention to me as I went on the main court to show them the proper leg and arm extension for their layup. And when I did it, that's when Jose and all other parents realized, wait a minute, he might know what he's doing a little bit. Just I guess because of the elevation or how I made the layup, what have you, it made him recognize and realize that he might know what he's doing. Anyway, I made the layup, and now the parents believe me. So me and Jose began to have a closer bond. Or I was helping his son and his daughter learn the game better and become better players. But over time, I stopped coaching for a certain period of time, and we kind of lost connection. And just recently, within the last, I would say, it's been now what? In the last 3 months, 3 months ago, should I say, one morning, it was early in the morning, my phone went off, and it was Jose. And I was kind of taken back a little bit, but I wasn't aggravated and I wasn't annoyed. And anyone who knows me, I'm not a person you want to call early in the morning because I'm just not a morning person. And I'll be really short or snippy with people in the morning. But this phone call didn't put me in that energy, and I was kind of excited to call him back because I recognized that I missed his call. So I was kind of excited to call him back and see what was going on. So when I called him up, he was like, "Bro, I didn't even call you." I was like, "You mean you didn't call me?" He was like, "Bro, I didn't call you. I must have asked out you, or Siri must have called you." So I said, "Oh, okay, that's what's up." Well, we began to start talking, and just building on conversation and catching up shortly with each other. And in the conversation, we began to talk about what was going on, and I was explaining about the podcast and where it was at and all these things. And he was just so excited and ready to work and ready to just pour himself and his resources into the podcast. He was like, "Yo, I just want to be a part of it. I want to join the platform." And this individual, not only did he join the platform, he also the responsible for the brand new studio that's going to be in this podcast. So I can't even begin to put into words how much I'm appreciative of you, Jose. I can't even put into words of how grateful I am to you and just what you've done in this short time for myself, this platform, and the minutes going to reach, bro. I am completely appreciate to God that He has brought us together in this space and He has brought you along this platform, not only for what you just bring to it, but for also your spirit, bro, and your insight and your knowledge as a father. And let me tell y'all something. If there's anyone who is truly passionate about their children, Jose is 100%. I almost don't know him outside of his children. Well, let me think about that. Like, I met him through his children. I don't know him outside of his children. And for somebody who is so committed and dedicated to the upbringing and the raising and the right way of raising their children, I appreciate him because I glean from him. I take some things from him. I borrow some things from him, just like I borrow from other phenomenal fathers. So, Jose, I want to say thank you, my brother, and I appreciate everything you've done. And let me tell y'all, I spoke about that new podcast studio. Where I am right now is in my own office studio right now, where I've been shooting at for a few years now. But what you guys are going to see coming up in the very upcoming episodes of this podcast is going to blow you away because it's truly blown me away. I'm still at awe to know and see where we have come from, where we are, and where we're going right now. So with that being said, that is the next part of this podcast. The next part of this podcast is where we are going. Listen, I'm excited about this. This is the energy that I prayed for, right? It's been times and life has zapped the energy out of me, and it's caused me to doubt myself. It's caused me to doubt even doing this podcast. But because of God's grace and His consistent push and love and bringing individuals around to help me in this endeavor, I'm still here. I'm still pushing on, and I'm excited because what's happening right now in this season is I am blessed because I've had so many. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I forgot to speak about one new addition, and he's not really new to my community, to my inner circle, but he's new to the community. My man Quan, this individual right here, he's been nothing but a blessing since I've met him in my life. He's responsible for me getting my last job before I walked out. He is an individual who is a phenomenal brother. He's an outstanding leader. He's a great personal trainer. He is my actual personal trainer. He's responsible for my body going into the phenomenal ways and building it as it was a few months ago. I'm not gonna lie now, I'm out of shape right now. I have not been in the gym like I'm supposed to be, but being that I have connected horns again with my guy Quan, he is going to kick me and Jose back into phenomenal shape. And we're going to have uh, actual episodes where you see us out on the field in the gym, just getting our bodies right, getting our minds right, because we understand that if we are not who we need to be at our peak, if we're not in the state that we need to be physically, mentally, and emotionally, we can't be who we need to be to ourselves and our families and the people that we lead alike. So my man Quan has come back into the scene. He is now going to be an individual on the platform with us here on the podcast, and he's another individual that I'm super grateful that I have in my life. And I'm grateful to have him a part of my team and a part of my community. So shout out to you, Quan. Um, what you can expect going forward in this coming season, you can expect to see us digitally, right here on this platform with me, myself, Swiss, KB, and Troy monthly. You can also Guarantee to see myself coming on the platform, bringing you content about confidence development, especially for fatherless fathers, confidence development for men as a whole. You can expect to see episodes of me, myself, um, Carl. At times, me and Carl will do episodes together. You'll also see me, Carl, Kwan, and Jose do some episodes together. You'll also just see me and Jose do some episodes together. We'll be switching it up on the platform and just consistently giving you guys a new look, a new feel, a new outlook, someone else's opinion, someone's thought process, and a flat out good conversation. Because each and every one of these individuals that are on the platform have a phenomenal insight in their own way. Brought a lot of their experience that they've went through in life, and they bring it to the platform, which will help each and every one of us become better men, husbands, and fathers and leaders in our own right. So the direction the podcast is currently heading in, we are looking to uh, get sponsors. We're looking to build this platform out. We're looking to go forward and actually do some live recording where we bring people into the studio. We're looking to have guests. We're looking to have interviews on the platform. So if you are a father, if you are an individual and a father, husband, leader, even a mother, a woman, and you want to come on the platform and have a conversation about something to do with manhood, about something to do with being a father, husband, or leader, bettering us as a community, if that's what you want to come on the platform to do, we would love to have you. I will also put a link in the description where you can get on the Calendly, create a time slot where you can come on the podcast and we can have a great conversation and dialogue. Because I do believe that the more we grow, the more conversations we have, it will also broaden the horizon of inputs because we all have different insights. We all have different outlooks on life, and we all have something unique to bring to the table. So I would love to just have everyone's thoughts and opinions come to the platform respectfully so we can have a great dialogue and become better overall as men. You can become part of this family. I definitely want to grow this community. Like I said earlier before, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that share button, share this content out because that's how we grow it. We're looking to grow this community. We're looking to we're going to create merch. We're going to create different events and outings, and as well as we're creating an in-person meetup. Right, I'm actually in talk and contract building right now with a location that we're going to actually house the meeting for us men, where we can come. I'm going to say monthly and have a conversation in person, where we can just come and have a conversation and be men and just not worry about any outside noise, not worry about being judged, just be imperfect men and just looking to build with each other, create a brotherhood, create accountability, so we can become better. So if you want to be a part of that and you are down here in the South Florida area, I'm going to leave the information down in the description as well about how you can tap in with that resource and how you can join us and become a part of our Imperfect Fathers, our group, our meetings, our Imperfect General meetings in person. We also are creating a new tool for the podcast to grow and also for you to have a voice and so we can hear your comments and concerns in real time about whatever episode you watch. And that is on Clubhouse. What we're doing is we're going to create a room in Clubhouse, a space on Clubhouse where we can come together and have a conversation based upon the dialogue we created on the podcast. So if you watch the episode and you have a burning desire to speak your heart on the topic, we'll be creating a room within that same week of the episode dropping, and we'll have a conversation in Clubhouse, and we'll allow people to come up and have conversations and dialogue based upon whatever they've seen in the episode, the podcast, whatever they have on their heart, or they just want to bring to us so we can have a discussion. So that is another tool we're going to use to create uh, deeper conversations, deeper experiences for everyone that joins our community. Because, like we said, we are very interactive, and we would love to hear your insights and your inputs on the topics. Now, what you can expect going forward in this podcast, you can expect to see us upload a podcast episode each week on Wednesday mornings at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going with Wednesday morning right now as a test trial and tweak. So for the first few months, it'll be on Wednesday, and then we'll, depending on the analytics, we'll try different days. So just bear with us. We're not really sure exactly when the podcast is going to be uploaded on a continuous basis. But as for right now, we're going to say we're going to start uploading on Wednesday. And if it does well, we'll keep it on Wednesday. But if it doesn't, and the algorithm and the analytics say otherwise, then we'll change it. But as of right now, we're going with Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You will receive a new episode of the podcast each and every week. So I am an individual that is looking to grow and become better. So I know that in order to do that, it takes accountability. So I'm asking each and every one of you guys out there, hold me accountable to this. Make sure that I am doing as I said I'm going to do, as per showing up on this podcast weekly. If it shows up that I have not come to shown up for a week, please get in my DM, get on my line, get at me and ask me, yo, what's going on? You're not keeping your word. You're not doing as you said. Because truthfully, I'm imperfect. I'm not a perfect individual. And there are times where I do allow life to life on me and get me out of my target direction. But with you guys and your accountability for me, making sure that you guys are holding me accountable to show up each and every week, not just for myself, but for you guys as well. I know that I will make sure that I will be here because truthfully, I don't want y'all on my neck. You feel me? I don't want y'all getting down on me and barking at me. So I'm gonna make sure that I have myself in a position here each and every week. So I'm excited about where the podcast is going, where it's headed, and I'm just excited for everyone that's a part of this journey. And if you've been with us since the beginning, thank you so much. If you're catching us right now and you're just now becoming a part of the family, welcome. I appreciate you. I take none of y'all for granted. And I know without y'all, I can't do what I'm doing right now. So please continue to show the support, continue to show your love, and I will promise to continue to feed that same energy back to you guys as much as I possibly humanly can. So now we're gonna get up out of here. Like I said, I did go over a little bit more time than I expected, but who cares? If you're still here, I appreciate you. Thank you for pulling up, and welcome to this new season, this new era of the Imperfect Fathers podcast. I'm just excited because I know that the best is yet to come. And as I get up out of here and as I conclude for this episode, I just want to talk about really quick what I've learned in this process about myself, what I've learned about this process and overall. Number one, I learned that it takes a community to build something. It takes not just one person. No one person can do anything. It takes a group and a collective effort of a community that's well knit together, tight, bonded, and has a common goal. And I've learned over the last couple of years doing this that it takes becoming a leader takes patience. It's not glamorous, right? Like we think that being a leader is just this glamorous thing. The social media and the world around us has painted this really fraudulistic picture. Shout out to Swiss, the word fraudulistic. A real fake way of life when it comes down to leadership. We glamorize the leadership, but in no actuality, it's some of the rough and ruggedest thing that you can do. It's really the life of a servant. I say that with great understanding that being a leader is not the most glamorous thing, but it's definitely a priceless thing, and we should value it and cherish it and operate our lives accordingly. The one thing I can say I've learned about myself in this process is that I have a hard time with completing things. I have a great way about starting things. If you're an individual that's looking to start something, I am the guy that can spark you. I can help you get started. I will help you push through. The one thing I've learned is that I struggle with follow through and conclusion. So I'm making it my concentrated effort and my focus this year to make sure that I complete the task, which is make sure I have at minimum 52 episodes uploaded to the podcast this year here on YouTube and Apple and Spotify or anywhere else you get your podcast at. I will make sure that it will be 52 episodes at minimum per year uploaded per season. So with that being said, I want to take a quick moment to talk about the next episode you will be seeing on the platform. The next episode you will see is going to be the rough version of the new outlook of the podcast. It's pretty funny because this episode you're gonna see next was shot weeks ago, and it was shot actually in my living room. So just seeing where we are now currently, where the studio and the podcast has grown to just over the last few weeks, months, it's giving me a real good excitement about where we're going. And now that I sit here and think about it, and he might kill me, yo, Dave, listen, I apologize for missing you out and skipping you. Another brother of the platform who has definitely been on this platform at a regular basis, my man Dave. Wow, wait a minute. I got a few other individuals that I'm sitting here slacking on by not even mentioning. Yo, my bad, Dave. My bad, Brent. And my bad, Mike Williams. Listen, to all of you fellas, to anyone who has ever graced this platform or who has ever been on this platform as a regular, listen, I apologize for not mentioning your name. And you will be on the platform again this year and this season. So hold it to my head, not to my heart. I apologize. But you guys know in real life, I do appreciate you guys. I do love y'all dearly. So thank y'all, each and every one of y'all. And like I was saying, this next episode you're gonna see is the inaugural episode of me and my brother Jose. Please like, comment, and share on that one as well. Share that one out. Get that one out to as many men as you know, imperfect fathers as you know, imperfect gentlemen as you know. Because like we said earlier, this podcast is not for the perfect. Now, before I get up out of here, I want to give you some words of encouragement before I go. And this week's words of encouragement is live your life as an example and not a warning. I heard this quote a few weeks ago and it really resonated with me because it's something that I now look at in a total different light because I have children and I'm in a space where I am a father and I know that there are a lot of people watching me because I am a leader, I am a coach, and I know that being a leader is a tough job. And in that job, you're being watched more than you know. And when we're being watched, especially us as men, husbands, fathers, and leaders, we have to understand that it's not all about what we say, but it's more about what we do. And we don't want to have to live our life as a warning to the people that are coming behind us. We don't want them to look at our lives and say, man, this is what you don't want to do. It's the warning because we watched through his experience. What you want to do is you want to live your life as an example. So other children and people coming behind you can say, you know what? This is an example of the kind of man that I should be. This is an example of the kind of role model I should be, rather than this is not what I should do, or this is the warning for me not to do or not to become this kind of man. So make sure that you're living your life as an example and not a warning to the next generation. It's going to benefit you, but it's going to benefit your legacy and the generation from behind you tremendously, a whole lot more. And the last words I'm going to leave with you guys is the words that one of my mentors gave me many moons back that I've been digesting and living on ever since. And it's something that I really hope that you embody as well. And it goes like this. You were born looking like your mother and your father, but you're going to die looking like the decision that you make. Your own decision. Own your decisions. Understand that every decision you make belongs to you. And with that being said, as long as you understand that, you take ownership, you're in a great space to be in, on your way to be the most phenomenal, imperfect father, imperfect gentleman possible. So, guys, I went over my time this week. I didn't expect to go this far, but I did. Hope that I gave you guys a great insight to the timeline and the life of this podcast, about where it came from, where it originated, where it is currently, and where it is going. I am your host, RJD, the Imperfect Gentleman, your men's confidence development coach. As you guys know, I end each and every podcast the same way. So if you're new here with us, don't know, you're about to find out. Fellas, to the world, you're just a dad. That's all you are. But to your family, you're the world. Don't let that statement go over your head. If it does, bring the tape back and let that sink in for a second. But until the next time we catch you guys in these podcast streets, be good to yourself and the ones around you. And if you can't be good to the ones around you, that's okay. Do yourself a favor. get those people from around you. Yo, this is RJD, the Imperfect Gentleman. This has been another dope episode of the Imperfect Fathers Podcast. Y'all be blessed. Simply blessed.